Hello, welcome to my channel. It's Victoria here, and today I want to talk to you about Huskies. I want to give some tips and advice on... what was that? I want to give advice and tips on owning a Husky because, as you might or might not know, I own a Husky. His name is Marley. I'm going to link down below a video that I did a while back with Marley, which is called Advantages of Owning a Husky. Ooh. What's wrong with me? Anyway, with this video, I want to give some tips and advices on owning a Husky for anyone who's thinking on getting one, because, well, I think it's actually pretty useful, and I think you might find it pretty useful, so here we go. Tip number 1 is to make sure that you have the time to take care of a Husky, because they are very demanding dogs. They require a lot of time from you, a lot of affection. Huskies are known as destructive dogs, that if you leave them alone for too long, they're gonna destroy your house. My personal experience is that, well, Marley hasn't actually ever destroyed anything in my house that I can remember. I've been with him like for 5 years. Now, I've had Marley for 6 years now. 6 years. And he hasn't ever chewed on the sofa or tables or carpet or whatever. He hasn't done anything. For that, you really need to make sure that you're gonna have the time to spend with them, and that they have enough toys as well, obviously, because that's how they entertain themselves when you're gone. There's also the possibility that you can crate train them, which many people do. I personally haven't crate trained Marley. He can spend quite a bit of time alone at home, and he never does anything that I know of. And so he's fine, but I also do spend like a lot of time with him, so you've got to make sure that you're really gonna have the time to spend with him or her, obviously. If you work long hours or you're thinking of starting another job that you might have to work long hours or something, maybe they're not the best dogs for you, because as I said, they're very demanding and you really need to be there for them. My next tip is that you should really get a good vacuum cleaner, because obviously they shed a lot, but other than shedding, they always have a lot of hair and they're gonna let it go everywhere. And in my case, I have a black carpet. It's not the best idea, obviously, because it's full of hairs all the time. I have to vacuum clean every single little day. So if you don't like hairs getting on your clothes, your carpets, your sofas, your blankets, well then maybe Huskies aren't for you either, because they do have a lot of hair and that just comes with the dog, and I really don't mind it at all. Just vacuum clean and get one of those little rolling thingies, forgot what it's called, to get it off your clothes, and that's done. You can also obviously brush them quite often, so it helps a lot, but you're still gonna get hairs everywhere, so you gotta deal with that. My other tip is to train them how to walk on a leash from a very early age. Obviously, well, I hope you're adopting a Husky and not buying, but if you're adopting, they might be adults already and you're gonna have to work even harder with them. From my personal experience, I kind of failed at that. I didn't really train him to walk on a leash, and right now it's kind of hard to walk with him. He pulls a lot. Sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he does. Most of the time he does. So it's not the best way. I gotta work with him on that, and I recommend, if it's a young, like it's a little puppy, well then from the beginning, just do it. Work with them and get him to walk perfectly well on a leash. If he's an adult dog, or her, every time I say he is because I think of Marley, but if it's a he or she, whatever, make sure you dedicate a lot of time to that. Maybe get somebody to help you. It's probably the best idea. I probably should do that. And when it comes to letting them off the leash, I personally don't do it because I can't trust Marley on that aspect. I think he would just run off and I'll never see him again. I mean, he's gotten away a few times. He does eventually like come back when you call him, but still no, I wouldn't trust him on it. It's pretty dangerous as well. He can just go on the road and I can't stop him, so I'd rather not. And they do say that you should never trust a Husky off leash. I have to agree and not agree, because obviously in my case I agree, I can't trust Marley, but I do know people who have Huskies that they walk off leash. So I mean, that depends on how you train them, and I do say that it's possible that they can go off leash. It's hard, but I think it's possible. But just do be careful. They do tend to run off, or suddenly you can just lose sight of them for a minute and they can just cross the road. You never know. I'd rather not let him off the leash, but that depends on you. Another tip that I would give to you is to never let them get away with anything, because if you let them get away with something once, it's gonna be very hard to get back on track. You gotta be I was gonna say tough, but that sounds horrible. Not tough on them, but you just gotta put your foot down. And that doesn't mean you don't love them, it just means that, I mean, you gotta set some boundaries, because they're very stubborn, intelligent dogs, seriously. And they're gonna look at you with that little face that, I'm very, very, very sorry, love me. And yes, it's very hard, I can tell you. You just want to hug them and cuddle with them and say, it's okay, baby, you can eat everything in the fridge, doesn't matter. No, that's a mistake. Although the thing with Huskies is that you can still put your foot down, and it's, you know, sometimes they don't care. I don't think an intelligent dog is a dog that will do everything you say. That is an obedient dog. And a Husky should be obedient, but it's hard. I think an intelligent dog is a stubborn dog, like a stubborn Husky, because they twist things around. They know when you're not gonna go further than a no or whatever. They're pretty smart, so watch it. Girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she walks. Are you watching the Olympics? I haven't watched them much this year. I should though. The next tip is a very obvious tip that you should already know if you're considering getting a Husky, but is that they really do need a lot of exercise. And what you can do, other than the normal usual walks, you can either go on a run with them. That's actually pretty good. You can run with them, you can go bike riding with them. Just make sure to train them well before you go bike riding. I don't know what they're called, but I know that there are these things that they make sure there's a distance between the dog and the bike so they don't like cross over or whatever. So make sure to train them before that. But it's possible and it's a very good idea. You can go skateboarding, but just be careful. Be careful, because they can pull a lot and they can become the sled dogs they want to be, so watch out. If you have a garden or a terrace, well, just play with them a lot. Just make them run, even if it's not that much space. Just make them jump around, play with them with the toys, stimulate their brain. That's also some sort of exercise, and it's good. So just keep them moving constantly, so then they'll be tired and they'll leave your house alone. So that's a good tip to know. So my next tip is that if you live in a hot area, like I live in Madrid, and in summers, like right now, it gets really, really hot, and it's clearly not the best weather for them. So make sure that at home you have either, well, the AC or some kind of fan that helps a lot. We have fans all over the place because we don't have AC, so it's fine. But we still have, well, I bought him a little kid's pool. Well, it's not this small, it's bigger, but it's like a little kid's pool where he just like loves to splash around a little bit. He's not too much of a water fan, let me tell you, but we make him get in it anyways when it's really hot. And then we obviously chase him around with the hose. He doesn't like it either, but you know, it's refreshing for him, so it's good. So just watch out and be really careful with the times you take him out. We try not to take him out in between like 12 or 1 till like 5 in the afternoon, even 6, because it's really hot and it's not, obviously it's pretty dangerous, and they could also burn their paws, so you gotta really be careful. Every time I go out now, I just try to, you know, touch the floor without anybody seeing me. Touch the floor and see, okay, if it's not too hot for me, I think he's okay, but I immediately take him out to grass anyways, just in case. So be very careful. Recently I was on a holiday somewhere in Spain, and there was this couple, and the man had a little dog. I remember he was a pug. I think he was a pug. And the poor dog, the guy was just standing there with the dog, and he was lifting up all his little paws because it was burning him, obviously, and that's very painful and very dangerous as well. It can then get infected, and it's like humongous pain. It's stupid. Just really be careful with that. Okay, so those are some of the tips I wanted to tell you. Of course, I have more. If you have any questions, you can just leave them down below. I'll try to answer them. And maybe I'll be coming up with more videos about tips on owning Huskies. So just let me know if you have any questions. I hope you like this video, and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want. And I hope to see you again soon around here. So thank you, and I hope you have I hope you're having a very nice summer. Bye! I got blood in my eyes for you. Got blood in my eyes for you. I was thinking of something and I forgot. I got such a bad memory. It's because I had curtains, but my dog, you know, stepped on them so they fell, and now I have no curtains, so I've got all the sunlight.